driving area.
Okay, we'll go ahead and start.
That's the smart moves. Why to get the gatekeeper? Yeah,
Sure.
it's like a car babysitter.
May 4th meeting, we have an agenda and there's everybody has a packet of information, but Melissa, you should, this is all emailed out to you, I think, so you should have it too.
Yep, I have it open on a separate device.
Christine is gonna take minutes for me tonight,
Oh, okay,
or for Dana.
that's fine. You're doing it. All right.
You didn't see my text, huh?
No,
Yeah,
I was eating dinner 3 seconds before I came here. So,
okay, so Dana's at a family event tonight
okay,
and Corey's at training for the city pesticide training. I never heard from Jim Richards.
I didn't either.
okay, that's fine. But if my hand starts on fire, then you know I gotta slow down a little.
Okay,
We'll talk so slow.
Otherwise I would have brought my computer.
Do you want to use mine?
No, I should be okay. Can do it old
Okay.
school.
Well,
yeah. You can always watch the tape again and take notes.
Oh, yeah, that's like I did in college.
All right.
Record my lecture.
All right, we have an agenda. And I would like to add one item. Let's make it after the street construction update. And this is regarding a vendor that needs a place to store the RV trailer and RV on the Saturday before Gold Rush. And I'll explain that later on. She's looking for ideas, so if the board wants to offer ideas. So with that, make a motion, we approve the agenda.
A second,
Christine or
Kristen. Mhm.
Any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
Right.
Aye, it's approved. Oh, Melissa?
Aye.
Thank you. The March 2nd meetings, we didn't have a quorum in April, so these are the minutes from the 2nd of March. So with that, want to make a motion for that?
I'll motion to accept the meeting minutes, and all that contained.
For a second,
I'll second.
comments? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, treasurer's report. There's a copy of Alyssa's email that I gave everybody here, Melissa.
Yep, and she and I spoke via email a little bit today too. Joanne, Alyssa and I are trying to figure out if I can take care of what needs to be done at the bank for you. I am a signer on that account as well, and I know she's just having trouble finding the time getting down there to do what you need. So we're gonna be contacting the bank tomorrow to see if I can help you just to speed things up, just so you know.
Okay, well, what I was asking for was access to the bank online. Yeah, and they said that Alyssa's the one that needed to do that, because I'm a signer also, and they have that record of that. But they didn't have record of anybody other than Alyssa being able to view the bank records online.
Yeah, that's what she's gonna call and ask about, because as far as she thought, when I went in with Carol, when I became treasurer, she thought that I got those same permissions, but I have never used them. So that might be part of the problem. So what we're thinking is if she calls in and says, can Melissa do this? Like, do I have access to do it? Am I capable? Then I can find a time maybe a little bit sooner than Alyssa can help you out. So we're gonna get a definitive from the bank tomorrow.
Okay, you just need.
Let me know.
An online account access. Is it, what bank is it?
Remember?
Okay. Cause I have the same thing with Sterling. If I don't go in every 3 months, they need to make me a new online access account.
Oh.
So I gotta make sure I go in. I got it on my calendar. So it might be similar with Bremer. If you don't go in.
I have no idea. I've never had access, so,
Yep.
okay.
All right, so For the minutes, the balance as of, May 4th is $18,015.30.
And there's a deposit that's not on there that I made earlier this week of 2,100, so.
And we'll get that update at the June meeting, then the new budget.
Yeah.
So there's one other ongoing issue with the IRS that Alyssa had in her email. There's a paragraph in the email that's in your packet, but it's we're still dealing with the IRS and our report that we sent in last July. And this is the third time they've given Alyssa another extension and hopefully be resolved soon. The 990 easy filing for 2020 has been submitted by email this time. She's done that in the last days or so. And she's just working nights with her accounting firm, and she wasn't able to attend tonight, so. All right. Moving on. Item G. The ongoing bylaw change, city relationship. I'm not aware of any update from our attorney. Are you?
The memo has been finalized and it should be going out yet this week, I'm guessing.
Okay. All right.
You know, one of,
That's to the board members.
one thing and one thing, because Mike is the city attorney, right? So his role is advising counsel. But one of the things that will, you know, he lays out options, and one of the things, the recommendation is to separate the two. And then that will require everybody to have mutually agreed upon date, because we've talked about, you know, waiting until after this year's event. So kind of, but it, you know, just to get prepared for that and allow for Mike and I to do some planning in terms of time to process all the paperwork that's necessary to do a separation with an effective date of whatever you choose, so.
And it's my understanding that there's agreement that all the fees for Mike's work would be covered by the city.
That's
Still
yeah.
correct? Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, that's a council decision, but yeah, that's kind of what we had talked about to smooth the way for.
Yeah, that's appreciated. Yeah.
To do.
Any questions for Sunny on that issue? Okay, we'll look forward to the memo and any questions at our June meeting coming from that, so.
And just as an informal poll, everybody still supports that, you know?
I believe so, yeah. I think there's a lot of good things to come out of it too, but
Right,
it's a new approach to it, but I think we'll just have to work through all those.
and the transition intent is to, you know, not make it difficult, it's like any other corporate transfer. We're gonna transfer ownership to.
So then we still
So-
keep our EIN, we still keep the
Yes.
same nonprofit, we're still
Yes.
same thing, okay, cool.
Yes.
Then we would just need a name, no, we keep our name for the Secretary of State, so okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's clean.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
we're keeping it as clean as we can, and it's, when I say processing the paperwork, it's more about just amending the bylaws. And again, to whatever structure the corporation then wants to implement. And articles of incorporation is just a transfer.
Okay, good. All right,
We can work on the bylaws after Gold Rush.
I'm sorry.
We can work on the bylaws update for some of the stuff after Gold Rush.
Yeah, we'll see what the memo has in, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we're looking at possibly five members, not a. And the makeup of councils and public will be a totally different issue now, so.
oh, okay. Yeah, but we don't have to do any of that right away.
So next item is H Gold Rush event. Item B and C, the gathering permit. The hold harmless agreement. We just need a copy of the resolution, the right of way. Those are all approved at the March meeting, I believe.
The gathering permit and hold harmless agreement were in March, approved by council in March.
Right.
And the right-of-way resolution was approved by council in April.
April, okay. You're right, I said.
And you're
March,
right,
not
I
April,
do.
yeah. Okay.
And Joanna and I just talked about that earlier tonight, so.
Okay, good. So you got a copy of that. Super. All right. There's nothing else regarding that. Oh, the aisle markers. There was some discussion about using the sandwich boards possibly for that, I guess, at the April meeting. No, excuse me, at the April workshop. We talked about it. So any more thought on that? Possibility of using those? We probably have 6, 7 sandwich
What does
boards.
that mean? Does that mean that like, instead of doing the A for the aisle marker is gonna be something a little bit more visual, like upright?
Right, something, you know, we talked about early on in the year about people trying to remember where they were at
Yep,
when they saw something,
yep.
you know? And so I think the idea is come up with a way we could promote or help them relocate that if there's a sandwich board at the end of an aisle in the middle or something like that, that's not obstructing the walking or the driving part of the aisle, but maybe not directly in someone's lot, but somewhere that it can be identified either with a map of what's in that row or subsequent rows or 4 rows,
Mm-hmm.
placing that on the sandwich board
Mm-hmm.
for that area. So that's,
because we were gonna do a map of the lots and the lot placements and numbers, correct? For like, was it like the poles or whatever? I can't remember where we're gonna put those. But, but this would be aisle specific.
would you want?
This would be per aisle.
It'd be awful tough to do it per aisle, it's gotta be per lot.
Yeah.
I
We were
would
just
think,
looking at the D and E lot possibly.
yeah, cause otherwise you couldn't do it per
Especially if
aisle.
things move around, like right at the last minute, that'd be hard to like be like, nope, now they're over here, now they're over here.
I mean, we have the app, we have the maps on the phone app,
Yeah,
and I think we're trying to put the listing of vendors on the app too.
mhm,
So we're just trying to complement that a little bit more of helping identify where they saw something.
yeah,
You know, for that, it'd probably be after everybody gets situated. In case there's some changes, I would think, and if you had those there, they'd be in the way if you're unloading. That, you know, maybe
That'd be,
Thursday night or something, that way we could set them up.
that'd be nice to be said, because we don't want to be maneuver around with everybody unloading and everything, and then we come with our,
No, but I was just thinking afterwards, because once you close down on Thursday night, you've got people, almost everybody in the places where they're at, if there were some changes, and then put it out. Because normally it's open to the public on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But the other people are the commercial ones coming in usually on Thursday afternoon. That's just a thought.
what about, so like if we did, you know, like the lot map, but then we also provided, you know, the vendors list for that lot. You know, like a
Mhm,
key,
yeah.
like I did, you know, like I had the whole thing,
right?
but this time it would be a key just for that. You know, like, so if it's D, wait, we're in D and E, and then where else are we?
D and E, these are the 2 big lots that,
Well, I can see where you went, then you're kind of, so maybe with, well, yeah, D is really big. So I would say if we just separated
well,
D
there'd be
and E.
numerous sandwich boards sitting
Yeah.
around, so.
I think you guys, if we do one or two lots, we have to do all lots in fairness to the vendors.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we can just do D and E just because they're big. We need to actually like have advertisements and information in all of the other lots that the other vendors are in too, just so we're all on the same page. If we do it for some, I think we should do it for all.
Yeah, we have, the K lot and B lot.
Well, and the D lot could have a couple
A's a
sandwich
small lot.
boards type
Yeah.
of thing, you know, placed in some, you know, but with the same information maybe. And then, you know what I mean? Since it is bigger and you have different areas that they're coming, people would be entering.
I mean, is it to signify like you're in D lot, like you are here? Or is it to help us figure out what's going on, or is it to help shoppers figure out where they're at?
It's more shoppers is what they're looking at, and for us. I think we've got it pretty much identified on where the lots are.
I mean, it'll help us, but the main purpose is for shoppers.
Yeah, because if they turn around and go back and forth and go, no, I wanted to stop back by that particular vendor, then at least they would know where to go back to.
Oh, like,
So why don't
I
we do
really
this?
Like that chair, where was that?
I mean, us saying, well, it's a D lot, a person's not gonna understand what the heck that means. Like it's in D lot, like that means nothing to someone coming in, you know what I mean? So I'm wondering if there's,
On the phone.
if it's on the phone, right, but like to really identify, like you're in D lot, like this is D, so like I'm thinking of, if they hit this sandwich board, it's gotta be like big, like, welcome to D lot, something, I mean, otherwise it's, they're not gonna understand that unless there's like a flag or something like that, so something big like
Right, I have one idea, I thought
sandwich
was
board.
like an animal, chicken,
Oh.
horse.
Something very
You mean a
obvious.
picture of an animal,
It was
right?
that horse road, that's right.
Right.
No, we're gonna
Sorry.
take a cow.
Although we do have chickens and roosters that run around during gold rush.
Not been a problem.
So like something really obvious, and so if it's there to
That would
help
be kind of cool, yeah,
the
because.
vendor or the shoppers.
Yeah, I mean,
Because we don't want to be redundant either, but we want to make something
Yeah.
that really makes an emphasis.
it's either, it's a color and an animal, because I know we had like for some of the hospital parking, it's a color and a flower, or a color and some of them were in Milwaukee, it was a color, a flower and the song that went with it. So you would, that way it could help patients remember which floor they were back on. So, yeah, anytime you can have a reference point, so if you want yellow
It's like
chickens and,
parking at the airport.
yeah.
Exactly, or
Take a
Mall of
picture
America,
yeah.
right? I mean, we're on Alligator 2 or whatever.
Yeah,
But if you do that, then, you know, we already have like lot A, B, C, D. So then you should name the animal like A for alligator and B, you know, for. bird.
animals that are here, don't we?
That way then it'd be easy to know what animal
Yeah.
goes to.
Like,
what
because the
lot.
D, like the D and E are two different locations. So if we had like a
Dog and an elephant.
D chicken or D free or something else to identify the D and then marker, I think that would help, like Joanne was saying. too.
Okay, you got to the chicken. Heard what I need.
We're in the weeds.
You're
Yeah,
welcome to
Sunny.
Good seeing
Nice to see you.
I think the people can A, B, C, or D without having animals. That's
Well,
just
I
my
think we could
own.
maybe
We
do
have
a,
13 lots that we have vendors in. If we only have like 7 sandwich boards, we don't have enough sandwich boards.
Yeah.
We have those signs though, I think I still have like 6 at my house that, I mean, even if it just was like a spray painted like A, B, like there's nothing else on it, but like you're here, I mean, I think all the lots have like a very small sign on a pole somewhere.
yeah,
I don't even know where they're, I mean, I'm lost when I'm out there.
Right, in the parking lot.
yeah, you see D when you walk in here.
I understand that, but I mean, you're not really like looking up
Right,
either.
And who would know? to
Like
look
that
at?
doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything to a vendor, or I mean, not a vendor, a shopper.
Right.
So yeah, I
It'd be kind of
agree.
cool to make, you know, some Midwest / Gold Rush / Orinoco type stuff that you'd put on there for, you know, what, for an animal or a tree or something, you know, that would be,
So let's put together a subcommittee and come back with some ideas, rather than. If somebody'd like to help me with that, I could, And I've been working with Joanne, but I don't want to take Joanne's time either because of her busy with all the other activities of the contract, so. If, just kind of brainstorm some different ideas, if somebody'd want to do that with me.
Do we have like a map of, could we look at a map
Yeah,
and
we'll-
say like
we'll bring-
where these are gonna go and like what we, I mean, like the simpler the better. I
Yeah.
mean,
Look at the maps, and we bring the maps and we can start identifying where we think the best place for them. And at the same time, how we want to identify those and. Because we do have a lot of aisles, but at the same time, we just need to cover. Well, we'll see, but anyway,
And the thing, you know, is if vendors don't show up, you know, and so we have an open lot. And if that would, you know, if it's on an end cap, then that would be a great spot for the sandwich
Yeah.
board.
Sure.
You know, rather than taking away a lot that I can assign to somebody. But, you know, but then you're waiting to the end, you know, till Friday morning or something and finding out, so that might not work.
I like the idea of the sandwich board being somewhere out, like in the walking area, but not. Because it's gonna be, there's gonna be so much stuff to look at that this would be by itself, so that might help too to make it noticeable. But maybe a color, color per lot or whatever. That sounds like a good idea to help
and the other thing would be is we
increase
can,
the identification.
Yeah. Okay. Give that some thought, let me know. We'll try and bring back something to the June meeting. All right. Social media. Dave has been updating the Facebook page. She did order 1,000 additional postcards. So they should be coming here in a couple weeks. And I think, did she share that with you, Joanne, too?
No, I haven't talked to her, but in my mailbox, yep, I got. I don't know if it's a bill or something, but.
Yeah, you know, it's the invoice.
Got a receipt.
It's the invoice for the card, so. That was the other thing I was supposed to tell you, that there were invoices there, so.
So am I to pay Dana the price or?
I don't know
Uh-oh,
who
okay.
paid, if she paid for them or, well, she must have,
Or she's having it invoiced.
unless,
if it's through Vistaprint, she's paid for it herself and probably just needs to be reimbursed. I don't think they'd print it without being paid. Yeah.
I'll ask Dana then.
did you have any other comment, Kristen, on anything? Or-
We're gonna really start ramping things up here soon. I mean, like, I know that we've been posting quite a bit and she's done a great job. But it's gonna start ramping up end of June, July.
Yeah.
And then we'll start like boosting stuff likely in August,
Okay.
if needed. Last year, we didn't need to. I mean, we had great.
She had
feedback.
always talked about, like referencing vendors, you know, like if vendors give us their website. She's talked about that. Is that going anywhere?
She usually does it through the Facebook page,
Yeah.
yeah. She usually has like she'll mention someone and then she'll have a picture from their place too.
Can
Or-
she see I mean, I'm sure she's maybe waiting to see who's returned to contract because I don't know if she can see that, but I mean, we're not gonna advertise someone unless we know that they're gonna be here.
Well, and
then new
vendors is what I.
We have new vendors, yeah, so as things come in, it might be nice for a weekly update or something like that, so that we can say, or, you know, contract us in, this person is, you know,
That's what
anything
the-
like
yeah.
that, otherwise, if I know I can't see it, but if she can't see it, then she's probably not gonna highlight vendors unless she knows they're gonna be there.
Which I'm sure she can't, because
Yeah.
she doesn't get the updated computer, so.
Yeah.
So I have access to the Facebook page too, and Dana and I sort of watch that and or receive the private messages and or can see what posts are getting shared and who's sharing them. So I think that that is sort of how she started, was people who were sharing, like one of the posts last month was, mark your calendars, we're back on, August, blah, 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 blah. And that was shared several times. And then we kind of look at who's sharing that, who's putting it out there. I don't know if she's contacting them or talking to them or asking permission to like mention them, but I think that's where she was taking some initial direction from in tagging people in posts, and then that gets reshared again and by that vendor, so it's sort of seen a second time. So it's helping to boost the vendor algorithm at the same time it's doing ours. But I don't know what else. Yeah, that's a good point, Kristen. I wonder if we should get some kind of a list of who we have contracts on so far to kind of expand on that.
Yeah. If that's what the vendor, I mean, I don't know if the vendors are, I mean, obviously any type of advertising we can do for them to let people know that they're here, that's great, but, yeah.
See if I can figure out how to run that report. Now that I opened that can of worms, like, shoot.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, it's the vendor list for one.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of it, but yeah.
And I mean, I'm assuming we're always looking for new vendors. I mean, we could accept vendors up until the show. I mean, like, is there a deadline or something? We really haven't done a whole lot of vendors needed type of marketing or vendors wanted, so it might be something that,
Calls and emails, probably 5 a week saying, hey, I want to be a vendor, what do I have to do? And so we're filling up.
good, that's great. I mean, it would be a wonderful problem to like need to fit them in different spots. Like, oh man, that'd be great.
All right, handprint advertising,
Yes, so. Radio, I know this isn't hard print, but like radio is taken care of, for the event duration. I've been working with Sandy Erke on that. And then I kind of had a really cool, interaction with, her name is Peggy Loveless, right? Down in Cresco, Iowa at the shopper. I had a great conversation and I didn't realize that she was capable of doing this because I think she caught me at a maybe not so strong time. And I was like, I need help. I need help with this. This is so much work. I need help at resizing ads. And I just was talking to her and she said, well, I can place ads in all of these locations. Why don't you just give me the list of what you want placed and I can work with them and I can do it. And she's not charging me anything for that work. And so I was like, I literally cried on the phone with her because I'm like, I don't have time to do it. Like, I just don't.
Yeah.
And so they redid an ad for us. They resized it. It looks great and wonderful. It's approved. It's going to be placed, but she's also working with me on getting in all the little shoppers and like all the, like, I don't know where to go.
awesome.
So she is working, her and I are working together. We've spent a lot of time on the phone. She has our list that I would like to be in. She knows what our budget is. I've given her less than what we can work with, and she's doing her best at getting us in all the places that she can. So
She's a shop owner.
she is the vice president for the Cresco Shopper.
Oh,
In
the
Iowa.
shopper, okay.
I didn't realize I was talking to the vice president at the time, and I felt really stupid for crying on the phone. Very close to crying on the phone. But she's helping us.
Wow, that's awesome.
So I'm very, very
Good
thankful.
work, Kristen. That's awesome.
So does she cover Iowa or does it go into southern Minnesota?
It's
too?
going all over. She has buy-ins in places in Minnesota, all over the US that they have relationships with. So she's just helping us come up with a plan that fits our budget and getting in on those places that even if it's like a 1 or 2 line, at least we're there, having some presence. She helped me come up with a plan of, I know we really want to beef it up, and like right now we're placing an ad like vendors are welcome, vendors welcome, and then we'll switch over in like June, July to more of a shoppers type of a thing, and then
Excellent.
we'll beef up in August, but she's able to work with what we have, so very thankful for her. Yeah. And I don't know if that means she has like a
That's
deal.
worthy of a prayer.
That's worthy of me like sending her flowers and being like, thank you so much. Coffee gift card, whatever, like I'm so thankful that she was willing to
Yeah, my word.
help. Yeah,
Has she come to Gold Rush? You know?
I don't know. if she has or not, but I know we worked with her for a long time and I think they were just so excited to get a call back that they, you know,
We could have a day for her.
right, I know, I was like, come, I'll buy you ice cream, do whatever, you know, but the only thing I don't have is like last year we were in the Rochester magazine. And I haven't seen that they're doing like a summer event thing, so if any of you guys
Yeah.
see that,
Okay.
I would like to get in there,
Have you
Yeah.
reached out to them yet?
I haven't, not yet.
Is that a KTTC publication or Post Bulletin?
I believe it's well, it's
Post
Rochester
Bulletin,
magazine,
yeah.
so I don't even know if they're doing it.
I think they are.
And maybe we missed it, I just haven't seen anything when I'm looking for it, like if they're doing a summer events. I'm sure they are, but
I haven't got any emails.
I can look into that real quick, just quick email. And you have an ad, everything's ready, it's just a matter of the cost and.
last year is 325, but I feel like that came really, really quickly, and it was like on it was like we found it. Like it was just a random thing that we were part of, remember that in the meeting,
Yeah.
and we got our ad in there and.
For the Rochester magazine, that's what I meant.
For the summer guide,
Oh, the
Yeah.
summer guide.
Yeah.
The summer guide was that, like a, yeah, surprise or bonus or something.
yeah, and I'm saying, I'm not sure if they're gonna do that. Again, it was with Rochester magazine.
Okay, excellent. Anything else? It was a great update. Map review. I guess a little bit
still-
early for that yet,
Yeah, I'm still plugging on it, so
Okay.
not as far as I wanted to by now, but
in process.
in process.
Um,
And I'm
Dana's
making them
comment
all
about
like 11 by
advertising.
17.
And those are the
Like an
cards that
11 by
she's ordered.
17 So where they can be,
Great,
okay, because it's better than probably an 8x10,
yes.
as like I did last year, okay.
Is there anything else that we're doing besides these additional cards that you just recently ordered to share with vendors?
Have you had a response from the vendors with cards for the first time? Do they need any more? Were they like,
Yeah, they have. They had, a couple of them had called and asked for more, so I mailed them more cards.
great,
That's cool.
Mhm.
that was slick, our whole application contract, all the loading of the stuff, it was fairly inexpensive. I mean, I'm so surprised we got it done for what we did.
Yeah, and then the girl at the post office, yep, she's worked, with the mass mailing of all of them, so.
She was
It
good to work
really
with.
good. Yeah.
Do you have the, sorry,
But
I was just wondering if you have the ad ready too, because when I'm up in Pine Island, I'd like to get that in their newsletter as well,
Yep,
so.
do you know what the size is?
No, I mean, that's why I was just wondering, I'll just, check, we got it in last year, I know that worked well. So I'd like to get it in there again.
Ooh, and maybe you get some of our cards dropped off up there too, and.
But I mean, I'm up there at their lunches, so I mean, I can do whatever.
Have you taken a bunch of cards to
I
get?
haven't, I mean, it's every 2 months, and so the next one's coming up next week. But other than that, it was ahead of time to try to do it earlier. So now it's time to kind of get it in there, so.
I have some cards in the room downstairs,
Okay.
if you wanna, take some with you.
Okay.
That'd be nice.
That'd be nice, yeah, just drop them off.
Right. Hand them over.
So
Yeah.
the 1,000 cards that you're getting, is it your plan to go back and send a second offering to all the vendors again, or?
No, like to new vendors, when I send them their contract, I stick 10 cards in there and
Okay.
mail them. Yep.
But for the people that wanted more, you're sending 10 more out or whatever,
Well, one wanted 30, so I sent her 30
Okay,
and,
alright.
yep,
but they're telling you how many you want.
Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, that's
because we started.
I mean,
with
great.
10.
Yeah.
Like, awesome,
I know.
yeah,
Good, good.
it's cheap advertising. To send them postage, I mean,
And I like, I think
Great.
more than just cards, because we're the The newsletter goes out, it goes out to more people than attend the meeting, so.
Right.
I think you were able to do the ad last year. and it
Yeah,
was
if I just
real
have
simple.
context, whatever size I'm needing or the, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I get.
Okay. Next couple items are some Chamber of Commerce. There's an invoice for the Rochester Chamber for $342, and I wasn't sure if Pine Island, if we'd taken care of yours yet.
Yeah, we did first part of the year.
Did we? Okay.
Yeah, that was paid and you took care of that, so.
Yeah.
So I try, as far as Rochester go, I try and attend a lot of the events, at least once a month, if not more. But it's also, the networking is really great, and also just helping promote Orinoco in general is well received too, so.
So do you need me to send a check for this?
No, I haven't sent it. If you want to send them a check,
Okay.
if there's a motion to approve it.
Make a motion to approve the 342.
I second.
And they will be out here for a Gold Rush ribbon cutting again.
Excellent.
So I'll enjoy that on that Friday morning. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Thanks. Approved. Okay, next item is, let's take a look at the sheriff hours real quick. So last year we scheduled 46, and Joanne brought it to my attention that they only invoiced us for 42 hours. That they were actually here. I guess we really don't know where the 4 hours.
Well, and I have that, was on their bill.
Oh,
So, Thursday, they were here the full 4 hours. I don't know, it was the 17th. I don't know if that was a Wednesday or.
That was Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay. So Wednesday, they were here the 4 hours. And looking for this year, I wonder if that was even necessary. But you guys can decide that. Then on Thursday, they were here 12 hours. Yep, and we had marked for 12, okay. Then Friday, they were here 13 hours rather than the 15. And same with Saturday. They were here 13 versus the 15.
But we had some rain events too that were in there. Maybe they left early.
Or just slow down at the end of the day or something.
Yeah, it was raining.
Oh, yeah, that
And
evening.
so that could have taken care of that. They left during that time is what I'm thinking, instead of hanging around.
I'm curious if, since it was exactly 4 hours shorter that they billed us, if they forgot to just bill us for Wednesday.
No, they they were signed up for 15 hours on Friday and Saturday. And they only worked the 13 hours. So
they
that's
did
the
work
4
4
hours.
on Wednesday,
Yeah.
Mhm.
12 on Thursday, and 13.
Yep.
Okay. Does that make sense, Mel?
Yep.
So should we look at? Thursday's kind of an active day, but Friday, should we take take those 4 where they're a double during the day? And just make those singles?
That's hard. That's like the hot time of the day when we usually have our emergencies and.
I mean, they did a really good job, I think, last year. I thought they were awesome, you know. I liked having them around. Cause we had cars that were parked and different things out that way that they looked for license plates and found the people and. You know, got things moved and all kinds of things. I think it's good to have that presence.
Right, but do we need 2 deputies on for those hours?
The only one I would question if I'm looking at it is
And,
Wednesday.
2.
Yeah, what do they?
Yeah, cause there is
Wednesday
a,
is, it's nice to have. To help keep the trailers from setting up, vendors from setting up. Cause they will go out if I see somebody, or I'll tell them to, ask them to either go to a line and wait till Thursday morning.
okay.
So you see the need for having them on Wednesday?
Well,
What's that?
You see the need for having
I
them
think
here on
so.
Wednesday, okay.
How about if we just left it at 46? Cause I mean, if it rains again, they may charge us for 42 or. Not, I mean, we used to have them for 72 hours at one time.
Yeah. I know, we slimmed it down 2 years ago, was it?
Yeah, it was a lot of hours. Go ahead, the campgrounds. But anyway, so that's,
Yeah.
No campgrounds.
Yeah.
Well, Saturday being kind of a slower day, you know, maybe we can get by with just one deputy. Rather
I
than
think so.
doubling up.
take those 4 hours off on Saturday. I think that'd be good. So it's just
You
a
don't
single
think so?
from 8
Well,
to
I
7.
would keep it like Ryland was saying, let's just keep it at 46 and not take anything off. You know, and plan for that. I'd rather have the sheriffs here, because remember we had counterfeit fives that were going along and the sheriff had already left and there was nobody here for that. Remember, right?
And we had a missing woman that was at my house, so I mean, we needed
I
them.
mean, so let's leave it at 46. I mean, I'd rather be on the safe side for this.
And just remember, it's always a little risky business with what's going on over at the Alamo at any given time too.
Yeah,
You have to talk to him again.
I do have my finger on it, but you know, that doesn't mean that I can guarantee the committee or say, go ahead and release some sheriff hours because I got you. I'd love to be able to say that, but you know, I mean,
Yeah.
you just don't ever know. They have been highly encouraged to behave, and they say that they're going to do that, but there's just no guarantee in what a single person is going to do.
I make a motion, we keep police
Second,
at 46 hours.
second.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that.
Any other comments? All those in favor?
I,
Signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay. The sandwich boards we talked about, we'll come back with a proposal. Street and sewer construction update, it's still, no changes. They're not touching, the only street they may touch is, the one on West Center Street in front of the VFW. That could be gravel, but, rest of everything else, Minnesota Avenue, 4th Street, 2nd Avenue, 1st Avenue on the west side, everything will be okay. Okay. This new item I added, Joanne, you want to speak to that? You had email with this late vendor. What he's asking for.
Yeah, a vendor, says. I'm just gonna read it. I would like to be part of the event this year in August, ready to send in my payment for my trailer, Fabulous Firefly, by the 15th of May. Just a little hitch in my get along. I will be up near Dogr County with my family who races at the dirt tracks up there for 4 days before the event. So I will not have time to get home and get my trailer and get set up, because I think she lives up north in Minnesota. So she's wondering if she can leave her trailer and her SUV that pulls the trailer somewhere so that it's here. And she said to bring it in on Saturday before the event and then have it parked somewhere. So then after she leaves the races in Dogr County, she could just come here and get her trailer and SUV and get set up and be here for the show. So.
Is there a business that would allow, that could allow that?
Phillies.
Well, we're not allowing it on any of the lots.
Yeah, we can't because.
So
then
it's
it'd be
either
a
gotta
liability.
be,
Right, right. So I thought was the, place across the highway there with that big shed. But, the person that used to own it doesn't own it anymore, so I don't know who owns it. So,
my only concern is that we want to make sure we're not setting a precedent here.
mhm.
mhm.
I offered suggestion that they could talk to Tilly's RV for a week
Yeah.
rental.
Yep, that's what I would suggest.
They could contact Camping World. I don't know if they have any storage on that property to the south of them. They allow storing or not, but I'd really not wanna,
Well, there's that storage place right here like, on Minnesota Avenue too, that maybe they would just allow them to.
yeah, they don't allow any outside storage.
Okay.
I think
I
you
think
try
the-
and do Tilly's first
Tilly's
and then
and-
see what
yeah, or the
happens at
camper
Tilly's.
places would be the best, yeah, I would
Yeah.
think.
I mean, there would be no, even if it was sitting over here, I'm sure some residents would pick up on it, even though it's not a lot that we rent lots on, but
Yeah.
it's just, I just don't want to get in that conversation.
Yeah, I think otherwise we're setting a precedence, but otherwise the park is gonna be closed down, but the minute somebody sees something in the park.
Yeah.
I think
we're
that's like
gonna
when
be
you ask the
back to-
church.
Yeah,
Presbyterian church, or, I
Liability
mean, that's up
for
to the
us to keep it.
church,
Yeah.
then, if they want it on their property.
I would do Tilly's first and that way it's already, they're set up for it. So-
Yeah, and the transactions between the vendor and Tilly's, not
Mhm.
involving us.
And they might give them a discount too.
We
Oh.
can definitely suggest to them Tilly's just because that looks good for us. But I'll tell you right now that Tilly's is full the entire week before and the week during Gold Rush. Because I had two other vendors email me asking me for local places to keep their to stay and kind of get prepared, and they had already contacted Tilly's and there was no space.
Is there a place like
Sooner the
Pine
better.
Island or Rochester that we can kind of divert them to, or?
Yes, you know, there's
Pine Island, I don't know if they have a camping place, but there might be some.
a big one out by the airport. Campground, RV campground.
Park at Walmart parking lot, right? They have a free parking for
It
campers.
says illegal now, there's a big, great big sign.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's illegal now?
Overnight truck parking.
Oh, I didn't know they
Yeah.
changed their policy.
Well, and if it's near the
Well-
airport, they're kind of on the way to Wisconsin, so.
Okay.
If it's near the airport, it might be on their way to Wisconsin nicely, so.
I don't know what the name of it is, but I'd have her search around, just Google RV parking. The Rochester area.
Either that or you could always park at the airport, long-term parking at the airport.
That's true.
You know, I mean, it's,
$10
You
a
can
day
do
or
it.
something.
And
I
then,
think it gets to precedent and it gets to liability. I mean, if anything were to happen, like I would love to say, sure, just park it at our property.
No,
But
but
there's
yeah,
no
we're
way
gonna
that I'm
be-
gonna be
yes.
responsible for that. I mean,
Yeah, no, I
No,
agree. I
to
think we
do
should.
the airport is
equation.
another one for long-term parking at the airport.
and it's that type of thing, you don't know who this person is. Is this a first-time vendor for us?
Oh, no.
Oh, she's been here before.
She's been here before.
Vendor start talking and say, hey, I just
Part
don't
of my
want.
thing, yeah. Well, I think it's good that we can give them references and where to go, because that's actually where she's kind of asking, where do you think I could do this? So that way that could be our involvement with it. Rather than,
And like up in the cities by the airport, there's some hotels that allow people to park there. And I'm sure there's a cost, but for while you're gone on vacation. Yeah, so I don't know if any hotels in Rochester do that, but I'll tell her to check that.
Yeah.
See if they do.
Good ideas.
Okay,
yeah,
thanks.
but they're, we're really close, so.
The last item is just look at the spreadsheet real quick. So I took what was discussed at the April meeting workshop and added those in bold blue print.
Mhm.
So let's just go through the first page. I can share with you some updates. Sentence to serve. Kane, I talked to him late last week, and he does have agreement about sentence to serve for the 3 days. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Monday. I'll try and get a copy of that email just for our records. Sheriff hours, we've, so Joanne will go back to them with a 46-hour request.
Ryland, could I just make a
Okay,
quick note? Word
You're cutting
Can
out.
I just have you make a quick note under the sentence to serve for next year? Oh, hold on. Is this better? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, will you just make a quick note under the sentence to serve for next year? Going forward with the separation with the city, just to make sure that we don't have city employees like Kane taking on additional tasks for us that may cost us money or hours from the city, just something to discuss for next year.
Well, we'll discuss it this year too.
Okay,
No reason why we can't get it out in front of us.
yeah, I just want to make sure that decisions that we're making now or taking notes at least for things that we need to discuss for next year about potential additional
Right.
costs that could be and currently entangled with city people.
I think too, we need to emphasize the use of seasonal help versus our standard employees as much as possible. In the case of when the census serve comes, they end up doing just about everything themselves. They go up and clean the barrels out. They put the stakes up. But because we're so
I
sensitive.
guess yeah, I guess my concern was just if we get billed for time that Kane is using to help organize and communicate, and if that turns up as a line item or not, you know?
Well, and I know in the past with the sentence to serve, I think they bill, what, $300 for those 3 days? And we pay $150 and the city pays $150. So I don't
that's right.
recall seeing a breakdown of what we're paying for. Other than I know they helped me unload the trailer. And well, they helped set up the tents and move the big desk out of the trailer. That's the only help that I know they do for Gold Rush. You said get the barrels out.
The barrels, they set up all the parking stakes.
Okay.
They do a lot of hand labor.
Yeah, my only concern was where does that bill go? Who pays it? How much is it? How much is on us? How much extra will be on us later if need be?
Well, like you say though, if they're working with Kane, then is Kane billing us for the time that he's working with Sentence to Serve, like to direct them, you know, like, okay.
Right. Or is he using any kind of like, city hours, which then will get billed from the city
Right.
versus is he doing it as a volunteer, as a resident of Orinoco to help out Gold Rush on the side? I guess I just want a clarification of that.
The last couple of years, the supervisor that comes with the group, they know what it needs to take, so he'll take charge. They may have to unlock the gate up the reservoir to get the barrels and they clean the barrels out, they come down, they use the city water to do that, but I think Kane is very sensitive to that, so I don't think that'll be. It shouldn't be an issue, but it's good to reemphasize that too. Good comments, thank you. But you're right, what we pay 150, I guess, we just want to make sure that the city's 150s, well, that's for paying for their peoples, not their hours, that's right. Okay. Civil Air Patrol. I guess if you want to reach out to them.
Yep, I'll send the letter, yep.
Okay,
Haven't done that yet, so.
okay. Tires, we may skip that. Handprint for Gold Rush. Kristen, that was something you talked about. What exactly was that for those signs that we put up for like handicap and?
The hard print for, I think that was all the print ads.
Oh, hard print.
For the what? Sorry.
The hard print, it's not hand print, it's
Oh,
hard
it's
print.
hard print.
Yeah, hard print. Those are like newspaper,
doing?
shoppers, sign language. No, I'm just kidding.
Got it, okay.
Um,
So
that's
share
what-
what you
that's
shared with us today.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, so I know it doesn't seem like a whole lot. We're in May, but like we're gonna hit it hard
Yeah.
in June, July. And August. I know. June is our next meeting.
I know.
Frisco lady. Okay,
One of
liquor license, Lions started that. I emailed
that.
Dan Sant at the fire department. They said they talked about it in, April and they're meeting next week and he'll ask where it's at to keep that moving along. So we're not,
It's true.
we're trying to help them out. So
The Lions Club has been received, so.
next page, I'll take the ice. Bernie deals with phone calls, no emails, so.
Same as we did last year.
That's right.
Huh?
Same as we did last year.
Yeah, yeah. Porta potties, sometime in May, early June, Mel, if you want to contact Mary Adams. The lady.
Yep, I have that. Yep, I have that in my notes here. I will, actually, it looks like I have that written down for next week, so I will have more info on that in June.
Okay, if you, why don't you just, if you want to copy me,
Yep,
Joanne, do you want to be copied or not?
No.
Okay, so just copy me, and that way I'll, whatever I hear back on the replies, I can incorporate that into the minutes too.
absolutely.
Okay. Jim's got the dumpsters, we got time there. Food vendor, so I talked to Pete Reese. He's the electrician for All Around Electric, lives here in Orinoco. I sent him a couple of pictures of the post. There's two posts by the where we have our food vendors in front of Tasso's place. So last year we had 4 vendors that needed all 50 amps, and Tasso used a 50 amp service from his building. He ran out, so we were able to get all 4 vendors. So I reached out to Pete to give us an estimate of what it would take to add another 50 amp service on that second post. So we have 4 50 amp services. So we talked late this afternoon. I sent him the pictures. He looked at it and he says that in order for us to put a second 50 amp service, they have to put a whole new panel on that would require that. And the 220 outlets that we have to make it just like the other post to the north. And he said the way the prices are going, it probably costs about $1,500 to put in that second 50 amp service, because they have to replace everything. It's not the outlets, but the box itself has to be reconfigured for 250s. Right now it's 150 and 220s. How does the board feel about spending $1,500 to upgrade that? We can still use Tasso 50 amp service, or trying to think, I think we have 50 amp service down here at E-Lot.
Okay, but I have a
Is
vendor.
is there any way that we can reconfigure food truck positioning so that maybe all 4 of those that are in a row don't need such massive quantities of electricity? Like put somebody that doesn't require that in that row?
Well, I didn't bring any of my electrical stuff with me, but you're right, there may be other 50 amp services that we can put a food vendor that needs it. There may be some place that we have it, we don't use it, they use 20, so. I just want to get, I don't think we can really afford $1,500 for a new service, so. So knowing that, we'll just forego the update and see if there's another location that, should we need a 50 amp service that we can get somebody into, they can move around. Or we use Tasso's 50 amp service again. If he's in his place, he can use a service from his ramp, from his office building. I'm assuming he'll be there, but I don't know that.
And then instead of paying us for the electricity, we wouldn't charge him the $100. Because he's gonna use his own electricity.
Oh, we shouldn't.
Right.
We shouldn't. If he's supplying his 50 amp service, we shouldn't be doing that.
Can we maybe approach him in advance and say, hey, we continuously are having this issue with this pole and it's too expensive to get a panel put in. We'd love to be able to use your electric again this year and we'll waive your lot fee. Can we just do that in advance and be done with it?
Yeah, I think we could approach him and just say, if we use your 50 amp service, we'll deduct your $100 electrical on your fee.
Right.
That seems like a fair trade.
Yeah.
Should have been doing that before, but I never really thought about it.
Yeah, well, and we just, everybody used to be charged the $400, whether they use electricity or not.
Right, now we
So
got.
we just changed it, yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, I'll talk to Tassos and talk to him about that.
Yep, and I think he's already paid, so just if he's in agreement,
Yeah.
then, I'll just send him a check back for $100.
How do you spell that?
And I had told him we were gonna look at adding another 50 amp service, but now we got some figures in front of us and we'll give them that $100 discount, so.
And I would, not feel too good about trying to move him. Because he's been there forever and all the vendors, food vendors like being on Minnesota Avenue.
Yeah.
So if we tried to move him down in, by a little Volkswagen or
It'd be
whatever,
nice to keep somebody.
they're all filled. Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Well,
What?
if he's agreed with this,
How do
we
you spell
got
it?
still 4 amp services, so we're okay.
How do you spell Tassos?
It's Panakuchen.
Oh,
He's the owner of Panic Cook and he owns the building on the corner there, so.
It's spelled the way that you don't think you spell it. I think
Yeah,
it's
I-
like a
I'll look it up.
T
Yeah, it's PSO.
something
Yeah, I'll look
like
like
that.
that. It's Panakuchen.
Yeah, TACOS.
It's so good.
It's not taco. Okay,
yes.
I think that's, rest of these things will happen
Mhm.
further on. So is it okay if I, update these with? I think for now, we'll keep the 2022 information on it. And then just add the 2023, at least for this year, the next year we can take off 2022 and just work with the previous year
Mhm.
of information.
I'll probably be working with the fire department on the food discounts.
Oh, not you, not Jim?
He's not doing that, I'm doing that.
Okay.
We normally get 20, is that right?
That's right.
You're supposed to
I
get,
have-
confirm with Dan, that we're supposed to get what, 20 tickets for those or over?
That's what we've done in the past, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, the
Well, I
VFW.
got one time I got.
Sharon Parker.
Cheese curds.
Ross or Sharon, yeah.
Sharon, was just in the hospital.
was she? I didn't see her at the picnic thing or
Sharon's
the
in the
pancake.
hospital.
Oh,
She's back home, but I.
Is she back home?
Yeah.
The guys that are sitting.
She was in for a week.
Sounded like she,
Those
yeah,
guys.
wow.
But-
wasn't doing
and then
much
there's like,
there,
money-
yeah.
What was it?
Different
I
vendors,
don't know.
different monies.
She fell
And
and I think she broke bones like in her spine and
Wow.
they had to fuse them together and she fell like on a kid's toy in her basement. And when she fell, then she fell like, must have been on her back on their pool table. So she broke and they took her to the ER and the ER kept sending her home, saying, oh, you just broke a rib, nothing we can do. And finally her son was like, you are going and I'm not bringing you home. And then they finally did x-rays or whatever and saw that, oh, she broke bones in her spine. So then they had to fuse, yeah. Yeah, so
Wow.
so, and I don't know who's gonna talk to Sharon, but like, yeah, she's not doing good.
All right, and sandwich boards, I'll back with it. Some ideas.
Sharon?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that live
saw
by
her trying to get out of the
Oh, did you?
car yesterday and
Yeah, she lives just down the road. She's right by the gas and go. Or Shell or whatever. I'm gonna call it gas and go forever.
Okay.
All right, anything else?
It's spelled PSOMAS.
Okay,
See,
it's almost like
but his
samosas.
first name is Tasso.
Awesome.
That must be what everybody calls him, Tasso. That's his last name.
Okay, that's cool. Well, I just know that's Panakukin, so that way I can, write, so I get it in the minutes, right?
Anything else for tonight? Appreciate everybody coming. Thank you, Mel.
You bet, and I will try to be a little bit more prepared a day or two in advance. How early in advance do you put out that agenda that you need to know if I'm gonna be on Zoom? Thursdays originally was gonna be
Well-
just totally fine for me to like waltz right into, and of course, as soon as we changed it to Thursdays, I'm having a little bit of an issue, so
So
I don't know
what's
if maybe-
Zoom, and this is on the committee meetings. And I'm surprised Sunny didn't say anything tonight, but anyway, we've happening on the parks, water and sewer, all of our other standing committees, is that Zoom is not really a means of communication. It was used because of emergency, health emergency with the COVID. Now that's behind us. The Zoom meetings for attendance, for council members and for committee members, I'm assuming it applies to Gold Rush, but that's why I want to ask Sunny about that. What we did with Skyler when he was Breckenstein, when he was a council member and he was flying for Southwest, and still does. No, he flies for he was flying for a private company, now it's Southwest. But he would tell us, so he would call in Zoom, but he would work with our clerk administrator at the time, city clerk. And on the agenda, he would say that when the agenda went out, that Skyler would be calling in to the meeting from such and such a hotel lobby. It had to be a public place.
okay,
Be a car or his private room. So it had to be a public place. And so then we would publish that on the agenda. And that came up in our parks meeting where Katie's been calling in the last couple of weeks or a couple of months because she's traveling with the kids, and she was calling in from the gas stations. And so not that she couldn't do that, it's just that there's a protocol to follow that we need to do that if you're gonna call in on Zoom.
sure. Well, I'll stop by. I mean, I can stop by tomorrow. I'll just poke my head in and touch base with Sunny and see about how or if that applies to Gold Rush, and also going forward with separation from the city, if that would still apply to us or not. And I'll see if what we can't work out. I'm honestly trying to do my best in being there, but I've really screwed up my Thursday nights. So
Yeah, the
I
only
typically
thing,
are not. Yeah, I'm just typically, I don't get back to Rochester until after 7 PM. Because I'm currently doing family stuff in the cities on Thursdays.
don't be surprised. And I appreciate you talking to Sunny to find out. But because if we have to follow open meeting laws with our quorum and everything, so the Zoom call may apply to us as well in our new structure.
That's fine. It's fine. I'll talk to her and figure out what I can do, what can be done. I'll just have
Okay.
to work it out.
Great, thank you.
Uh-huh.
So like state legislators, they call in via Zoom for their meetings and they're at home in their office at home.
We
So it makes
just
no sense to
added,
have a private, that they have to be in a public space.
yeah, we had,
Maybe that's what she said last night at Parks meeting, so.
Maybe someone else should double check that rule.
yeah,
Ah.
because so for Minnesota PTA, I wrote the emergency
I agree.
bylaws that allow the video conference, and how to vote and how, roll call voting and all that. I just took all of that and put it into our regular bylaws because everybody's using it still, some different groups are doing just virtual, and you just have to follow whatever your protocol. So if we want to keep a virtual meeting possibility, then we could write it into our new bylaws. And then we also write in the election the voting process where, like you did by roll call, by calling her name. So if there was two of us, you'd call each by name, we would answer each by name. And then that's how you satisfy the voting when it's done on Zoom or another
Yes.
thing.
And if
is
it
roll
needs to
call.
be done like next month, I
Yeah,
mean, we can amend the bylaws and
Yeah, we-
sign off on them.
later, yeah.
Yeah, I think anything that does change will happen in September, October timeframe officially. I don't see anything happening between now and August, nothing.
No, but if the bylaws just need to be amended, no.
And we
No.
typically
We gotta-
approve bylaw changes at the annual meeting.
Yeah, we're gonna do them once a year and, whatever we say for how we amend them.
So I make a motion, the meeting adjourn at
Second.
7:40.
Second.
Sneaks the second in there.
Now you
You're
can,
looking at the time.
Okay, so. Maybe second, right before the time.
Guys.
all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Oh, you got your stuff for the postcards?
All right,
Riley, do you have your
but I have a question for
key
them.
for the office?
Yeah,
I've
let
got
me
mine.
stop the recording.
All right.
first.
I will,
Oh,
just minutes and I might ask you some questions in case I can.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just wanted to get a card.
If I spell something wrong or.
You wanna take a bunch?
Oh, my God.
I'm